I am finding it awfully difficult to be creative here. I've come back home and I am finding that being away from Falmouth, I really took for granted how special a place it was to find inspiration and to be able to look at things and see them in a different way, in a more introspective light. So for example, when I was in Falmouth, I would be able to walk down to the bottom of the campus and see this area where there was bluebells and wild garlic punctuating sort of the surrounding area, and the bluebells themselves were half dying, but because they were being cascaded within this mass of wild garlic, you had the senses enlivened through, you know, your smell and then the taste and the sight of all this sort of things. And rather than being just normal plants, it had this cool dichotomy between life and death or other meanings altogether. And that is such a powerful thing of inspiring stories and poems and any other creative output. But the thing is, when I come back home to sort of the middle Oxfordshire area, what I found is that there was a lot of other difficult things that I had to take into account, because when I looked at, say, a tree, it was just a tree. When I looked at plants, it was just plants, and there was nothing more to it than that. Whereas when I was in Falmouth, it was more about, okay, well, what can I look at this for in terms of heritage? What are the deeper marks of history that are ingrained here? When I go to Cornwall, I can look from the cliffs and think, well, what's out there? And I'm thinking in terms of regions and the countries that are beyond. So you've got Europe and anything else, and then looking as well at the oceans and seeing what's beyond there, and then you get to think about, oh, what's under the ocean, and your mind just reels off these other ideas and possibilities which do inspire stories. Here, what I find is I find it up in the sky. So I think it was from being at home that when I used to go down to my field with my horses, I'd be able to look at one side of the sky to the next and kind of really look over and kind of see it as if you were seeing the shape of the globe itself. And of course you are in this big sphere of the earth, but when I look at it, it's kind of the skyline is the thing that's captivating, and then figuring out what is up there. So I think even though I'm not really finding inspiration in a place like this as I would have done in Falmouth, I can find it somewhere up there, and it makes you think about different possibilities. So I guess the point of the video is saying that even though you think that there are no ways of finding creative energy within the places that you visit, there is always something that can captivate you, and it's not necessarily going to be the same. So like I said, here in this more concentrated area where maybe there isn't as much of nature to concentrate on other than being what it is in the simplest form of nature and just wood and having no other meaning, it's quite banal, you can look at other things that might have inspired you. So it's always this kind of introspective light that you've got to kind of take into it and think, well, actually in a weird way, it is constantly this thought process that I'm going through about looking out and looking beyond. So when I'm here, I'm looking beyond to the sky, to what's outside in space. When I'm down in Falmouth, it's looking beyond the known, looking into the unknown, so what's within the oceans, what's outside of the oceans, what's beyond that, and then thinking about that in response to, say, if you were in a country on an island and not knowing whereabouts you are or what is out there, and kind of seeing the world in a greater sense. So yeah, wherever you go, wherever you might think, okay, there is no inspiration here, you have to really pick at the fine details of your surrounding area. And so it might not necessarily be nature. In one place it will be, in another place it's not going to be. It might be space, it might be animals. Whatever that draws you nearer, there is always going to be some sort of creative place where you can find your own inspiration and create something potentially amazing. Seems a good way to go about it, I think. I hope you enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you want to see any more of my reflective thoughts or just random thought processes and stuff. See ya!